Hello and welcome to Megatrip, or should I say Konnichiwa, Yokoso Megatrip. I'm here in Osaka for this Megatrip. Here's what's coming up on this episode. It's an absolute must to come down here by the waterway. There you go, I've given up on canal or river. I mean, it's like this place was made for Instagram. Well, in the interests of cinematic suspense, I can't actually film inside the temples. Kill! Eat him. Eat him. But my God, it is as cool as I remember it. Through the magic of editing, you now know more than I do about what's going to happen to me in this episode here on Megatrip. But you join me in sunny Osaka, here on Honshu, the main island in Japan. We got here yesterday after flying in from Beijing and jumping on the Shinkansen, or what you may know as the bullet train, and it took us about 2.5 hours to get into Osaka Station, one of the main stations, or the main Shinkansen station here in Osaka. So thanks for joining me. Very excited to be here. Let's kick off the video by having a little look at where I'm staying. So this is the Hotel and Rooms right by the station. And it's a nice little budget-ish hotel. Let's have a little look what it's got to offer. See outside here some lovely bamboo, nice little setting, and into the Hotel and Rooms. They're just doing the cleaning here at the hotel this morning. So there might be a few people knocking around, a few bags of laundry. Let's jump in the lift. Before we go to the room, we're going to go check out the common area on the second floor. It's the kind of thing you'll find in lots of Japanese hotels. While we're waiting, I guess, let's just check out these bikes here. Just sitting here. No locks, nothing like that. That's something you'll notice a lot in Japan. There is basically no crime here. So right by the station, there's a massive bike park, hundreds if not thousands of bikes. And in there, none of them are locked up. Literally zero crime, or next to zero crime here. Right, let's go check out the common area on the second floor. So like I said, a few people around, tidying up, cleaning up. So one of the first things you'll see in the common area, you'll see this all over Japan, are the vending machines. Quite often they'll have a variety of hot and cold drinks, snacks. This one's just cold. And you can see here you get a variety of beers if you want a drink in the evening. And of course the ubiquitous smoking room. Something pretty common here. Weirdly, if you are a smoker, you tend to smoke inside rather than outside, which is a bit of a cultural shift, I guess, if you are a Westerner. But the reality is, they like to keep things super clean here. So the streets, there's no rubbish, no litter, no cigarette ends. So smoking rooms tend to be inside, if that's your thing. The other thing they've got here, which I enjoyed last night, is a big public bath. Obviously I can't film in there, and I wouldn't be filming in there, but I went in last night. Lovely to get clean, relax, be sociable. The nice, hot, almost like an onsen spring where you can relax, have a proper wash. Then they've got some nice massage chairs. It really is a nice way to end the day if you've been on a busy walk around the city. So that's the public area. We'll leave it here for a minute. Let's go up and check out the room here in Osaka, Japan. So let's see what about £50 gets you here in Osaka, Japan. I think it was about 50 quid anyway. I can't really remember, but I'll put the price up. You'll notice here the rooms tend to be quite small, space is at a massive premium, particularly in the big cities in Japan. But anyway, you get a lovely little room. You get your slippers as you come in, if you want to use those. Japan's definitely a culture where you take your shoes off. We go in, there's a rack for hanging up your clothes, TV, a nice double bed, and a cool little work area where I can get some editing done for these videos. And of course, this wouldn't be a video about Japan if we didn't have a little look in the bathroom. You know what we're talking about. So let's go check that out now. Again, bathrooms tend to be super small here. A lot of bathing, like I said, is done in the public baths. And you can see in here the toilet that we'll come back to. Nice little sink and bathing unit. And a shower and a bath. Very bijou. But of course, Japan is all about the Japanese toilet. Here, you can see the controls for the bidet that's built in, the flush, the position, the pressure. And if you haven't seen one of these bad boys, there you go. Looks like a normal toilet, but I promise you it's anything but. If you've been there on a cold morning, there's nothing quite like sitting on a heated toilet seat like you get with a Japanese toilet. I, for one, am a massive advocate of the hygiene, the comfort delivered by this type of toilet. Bit of a weird thing to talk about, and I know we find it very unusual in the West, but here in Asia, this kind of hygiene is massively important, and I have to say that for one, I fully support it. Anyway, so that's what you get in your little budget room, say about £50 a night. I'm here for, I think, 4 nights. I stayed here last night. So that's a little look around the hotel room, and now we're going to head off into Osaka proper and see what there is to do in downtown Osaka. Okay, so you join me in the famous Namba arcade here in downtown Osaka. This is one of the main shopping districts. You can probably see it behind me. Absolutely crazy. Loads of shops, good electronic stores, much cheaper than in the UK if you were to come here now with the currency. And of course, lots of local food like this over here. You can see the famous Osaka speciality, takoyaki, also known as octopus balls. They're absolutely delicious, fried in batter with great skill. I promise you, absolutely delicious. We'll be getting some of those later, no doubt whatsoever. So like I said, this is downtown Osaka. This district's called Namba. So that's the tube line you want to head for. Loads of great restaurants. Really just a feast for the eyes. So definitely worth a little walk around, see what's going on. Get yourself some food, get yourself some souvenirs. Anyway, let's have a bit more of a look at this place. What have we got here? Namba Hills game. So you'll see lots of these super cool little arcades. Now, the national arcade game here is Pachinko, and I guess again we'll have a look at that a bit later. But you can see here all the variety of kind of fairground games you might be used to. Grab hands for soft toys, push machines, just like anything else in Japan or everything else in Japan. Noisy, bright, vibrant, a real buzz going on. So that's part of what you can see, as well as the super cool and interesting architecture, the buildings here. They're all selling you something, and that means they're bright and they're vibrant. So check out this guy over here, this dragon leaping up at you out of the wall of this restaurant here. We're definitely going to see more of that as we kind of walk around Osaka this afternoon. It's starting to get warm, it's a little bit sticky, and we're probably going to go have some food. But first, I need to pop into this place, get an adapter, bit camera. So if you are here for electronics, this is one of the best stores. Absolutely massive. It's called Bit Camera, but it's not just cameras you can get. It's also any kind of electronics. I'm with someone who's popped in to get some Apple AirTags. I'm going to get some more bits of tech for myself, some camera accessories, but well worth a visit. Anyway, let's carry on mooching around Osaka. We'll catch up over some food a bit later. So you can see the market here in Namba goes through multiple streets as we head down to Dotonburi. That's where we're going to go next for a little bit of lunch. One thing you'll notice in Osaka compared to perhaps some other cities here in Japan is you see a lot more foreigners, either Asian tourists or Asian business people, as well as Westerners, white folks like myself. The reason for that is Osaka is very much a port town. And that means that historically Osaka has been one of the places that has traded with other nations much more so than other cities. So it's very multicultural, very international, certainly for Japan. I mean, Japan's obviously becoming more and more open to foreign visitors these days with a very favourable exchange rate. Anyway, that takes me down to the wonderful Dotonburi. Check this out. Look at the size of this bad boy crab. So you can get your snow crab here. Very, very popular. Lots of various street food. Good stuff to eat. And the canal or the river that we'll see in a second running right through the middle of Dotonburi. I'm not actually sure which it is, but we'll go take a look at that. But again, if you look the other way, you can see a very typical Japanese scene that I'm sure you've seen on TV. So if you do come to Dotonburi, you come to Osaka, it's an absolute must to come down here by the waterway. There you go, I've given up on canal or river. But check this place out. Absolute video game sci-fi madness. I mean, it's like this place was made for Instagram. Loads of restaurants, loads of cool things to see and do, lots of noise, lots of buzz. And of course, water. Right, let's keep looking around. Just for you, Sam, you know how you are. The crab dance. So today in this video, I'm really just showing you, I guess, my kind of top two things to do in Osaka. So if you're just here for one day, that's probably the way to go. Go down to Namba, check out Dotonburi, and then come and do the second thing. So about half an hour on the public transit system, you get to the other, or what I think is the other cool thing to do here in Osaka, which is Osaka Castle. Now, Osaka Castle was originally built in the 16th century, and it's been reformed, redone, rebuilt, in fact, as recent as the last century. But it's well worth a visit just to come and give you an idea of Imperial Japan and some of the size and scale and architecture. So have a little look at this place. You can see in front of us here the moat with the various bastions sticking out. And then we come round to the main castle up here on the hill, nestled above the city. And that mega tripper is where we're going to head to next. Might grab an ice cream on the way, might not, but let's go and check out the Osaka Castle here on Honshu in southern Japan. So walking into the castle, you come through the Ottoman gate, built in 1628, and that's the entrance to everything that lies beyond. It really is the start of a total complex up here on a hill in central Osaka. And you can see here another gate leading through to the gardens surrounding the main castle building. You may not be able to tell on camera just how big these gates are, but for 1628 they'd have fit more than just a little carriage and horse through them. And you can see just from the size of the timbers here how serious a construction project this would have been. So this building we just walked through is actually the Sengan Yagura turret, and this was built on the side of the castle during the Edo period in 1620 to protect the castle. And this is one of the oldest buildings still standing on this complex. Absolutely stunning. Right, let's go check the rest of this gaff out. Big old castle on a hill. What more could you want for? It's a bit of a walk up to the top of the castle, but you don't have to walk. You may hear behind me the funky little tourist bus that will take you up if you need to. Might save your legs, or you feel a bit lazy, or, you know, maybe hungover. But Osaka Castle definitely worth a visit. I'm sorry to any Welsh folk out there who think you're the best dry stone wall builders in the world. I'm pretty sure the Japanese have you beat on this one. Check this out. Check out the size of these. Huge, beautifully square and fashioned dry stonework. Look at that. Held together with these little keystones. Like I said, it is a bit of a walk up a hill, and really the beauty doesn't end. As we go through this next gate, you can start to see the castle itself emerging in the background. But we will get to that. And a view of the second moat inside the complex. This one a dry moat. You can imagine trying to get through this and get up the walls would be almost impossible. Check out this bad boy sitting on top of the hill. Reportedly, almost mate, almost. It's Osaka Castle, famously, according to my father, who's actually on this trip with me, very, very small castle. I'm not sure he's right. He might have had a one or two. Anyway, let's see what it's all about. There she is in all her glory, Osaka Castle. You might see on the point of each of the roofs there are fish. Those fish are shown diving into water signifying both luck and protection here on the ancient Osaka Castle, on the top of the hill above this city of Osaka. So that's it from Osaka Castle. Not too shabby, I'm sure you'll agree. So pretty much it for today. Gonna head home, head back to the hotel, get something to eat, and tomorrow we'll go to Nara. So look forward to seeing you then. For now, I'll leave you with this view back over the city. Gotta love the contrast of old and new. See you tomorrow. Good morning, and we are back in Japan, here in Osaka. Not going to lie to you, Mega Tripper, I am pretty jet lagged. I've really been struggling to sleep for the last few days. But that's my problem, not yours. We're going to persevere, probably until I break down and collapse at some point, but never mind. Anyway, when I was planning this trip, there was one place that I really wanted to go back to, somewhere I went probably 15, 20 years ago now, and that is Nara. Now, Nara is the capital of Nara Prefecture, here in Japan, in southwestern Honshu, on the main island. And it is full of temples, shrines, and some other cool stuff, some cool wildlife. And we'll go see that later today. So that's what we're up to. So join me as we jump on the public transport system. I'll show you how that works as well. And go to the beautiful Nara, which I have literally been looking forward to going back to for at least 15 years. Let's go. Okay, so let's jump on the metro to Nara. Public transport in Japan is super simple, includes things like the metro, rail, bus, and the way to get around is one of these contactless cards, the ICOCA card, a little platypus logo on there. This is a contactless charge card, similar to an Oyster card in London, and you top it up at these machines that you'll find in all the stations. You can select English to make it really easy. You just pop your card in, select the amount of yen that you want to load onto it, and shove your money in. These machines are great. I mean, they look like something from a kind of 80s sci-fi movie. Anyway, that'll top your card up, and once you put some money on that, you can just bip it through on the gates. And you can also use the card in stores or at vending machines and use that money for snacks, etc. as you're travelling around. And it really is simple as that. Then just grab your card out of the machine, walk through the gate, bip it, light goes green, and there you go. So we are here in the famous Nara. It's taken about an hour from Osaka with just one stop onto the express train from Todai-ji. And here we are in wonderful Nara. Let's have a little look around. You can see these stone lanterns as we head up to the park. Now the park, you'll have probably seen online already, it's famous for a certain type of animal. We'll get the detail of that when we get there. But first, about Nara. Interestingly, Nara is home to over 20 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, so there's certainly plenty to see and do here. So I'm going to head up the road, get to the park, and we'll see you there. So on the walk up to the park from the station, there's this main street, long shopping street, filled with little souvenir shops, restaurants, an opportunity to pick something up and take back home with you. One of the things you will find here, which is a bit different to other areas of Japan, because if I'm honest, a lot of the stuff is the same kind of tourist gifts you might get all over the country. But the one thing that's kind of the speciality here, if you like, are things made out of deer antler and deer horn. Nara is very famous for its deer, as we're going to see later. And you can just see an example of that over at this little shop that I spotted, which seems to be selling cakes and sweet treats. That's this lovely carved deer outside. Right, as there's over 20 UNESCO World Heritage Sites here today, we are going to have a look at some of them in detail. We're also going to have a look at some of them pretty quickly. So this one we're going to start with is the Jogyoji Temple. Let's have a quick look. We're not going to go in, but you can see through the gate, beautiful gardens in there. Right, we're not going to do all 20, but let's call that number one done. So like I said, there's an awful lot to see here in Nara. let's do a quick spin round a couple before we get into it. So over here, we've got a lovely hexagonal pagoda. Before moving over to the 5-tier pagoda, which is having some work done on it at the moment, behind this scaffolding. So the temple complex in Nara was built, or started to be built, as far back as the 6th century. And at that stage, Nara was actually the capital of Japan. And that's why all these temples and shrines are here. When you come here, you can see not only temples that are still about, like the 5-story pagoda that we looked at earlier, and this great hall here, but you can also see all the way around foundations of where even bigger temples would have been all over this area, this religious site. To say religious site, so these are technically Buddhist temples, but they would have also very much marked the seat of power, the centre of power, back here in Nara in the 6th century, when this was the capital of all of Japan. And it's really got that vibe to it. You come up here, you're right at the top, overlooking back down into the city. Okay, so if you come here to Nara, some of the temples, they are ticketed. They're not very much. Ticketing for this one was £2.50, so 500 yen. And this is the Golden Temple. This is one of the main temples that's worth coming to see. It's actually quite hard to give you a sense of the size of this thing, but let's have a little look here. You see, barely in frame. I'm a good 50 metres or so around it, away from it, and you can see, perhaps for scale, some of the people here standing at the bottom. And we'll go and have a little look inside in a second. But the Golden Temple here, it's not golden, but anyway, but it's called the Golden Temple. This was built in 696, Common Era. So what's that? Best part of 1300, 1400 years old. Definitely worth a look. I can't actually film inside the temple, so that means you'll have to come yourselves and have a little look inside the Golden Temple and the other temples here. We'll have a look around a few more, maybe we'll be able to film inside those, maybe we won't, but I think just the buildings themselves are pretty impressive. Look at this. All of this construction is all done in wood, just painted wood, solid as you like, as with a lot of the traditional architecture in Japan. Wood on stone foundations. Oh, look at this little kiwi here. Thank you. Get ready to run. Ooh. So when you come here to Nara, you buy yourself some little deer crackers, like I've just done from that lady at the stall, for about £1, and then you can feed them to the lovely deer, which we're going to do right now. There you go. You're welcome. Alright, let's go and find some more. Hello. And they're even trained to bow to ask for crackers. There you go, matey. I hope I've been training these deer for weeks to kill. Kill! Eat him. Eat him. They're very hungry. They're not as violent towards you as I was hoping. Like I said, plenty of temples here in Nara, and we're not going to do them all. But check out this one, the entrance made up of these stone lanterns. Super cool. So we've seen a fair few temples today, we've seen a fair few deer knocking about, but now it's time for the main event. The Daibatsu Hall, or the temple holding the largest Buddha statue here. I don't know if you can quite tell from where I'm walking, but as you head up here, the size and the scale really is something else. I'm going to be really honest with you. When I came here sort of 15 years ago, there were lots of tourists, lots of visitors, but nothing like what they are today. I have memories of this place being really quite tranquil and contemplative, if that's even a word. I don't think it's really that today. Still worth a visit though. The buildings, the architecture, just the atmosphere, be able to hang out with all these nice deer in the park. It's definitely worth a visit. Really easy to get to from Osaka. Like I said, about an hour on the train. I think it's about £4, so 800 yen. Anyway, this 7th century temple here. Let's have a little look. Boom. Right in front of us here, you can just see the gateway leading into the main hall. Let's get in and get a bit closer. Oh, we run out by one of these deer here. Let's get in, get a little bit closer and have a look around. Now, one way to look at the hordes of school children that have to be here today would be quite negatively, but I'm going to choose to look at it positively, because what they're going to do, standing in the bottom of the gate here, is really give you an idea of size and scale. So we get a bit closer now, and you can see, can't even quite fit the whole gate to the temple into the frame. And you see, for scale, the adults, the children, crowded in the bottom of the gateway. Remember, this was built something like 1300 years ago. Really is super cool, mega impressive. Officially, you don't want to fuck with the fawns, you've been told. So after the gate, we're getting down to the Daibatsu Hall, the home of the giant Buddha. Absolutely massive temple, absolutely teeming with hordes of school children. But what can you do? What can you do? Can't really explain enough how much it's all just kind of about the setting here. So much beauty all around, which does, I guess slightly unfortunately, make it very busy. Okay, so now's the main event. Thank you. Don't worry, I got to. So we're finally inside. We've got our admission ticket. That's 800 yen. So that's going to be what? £4 in English money. About $6 maybe, $5-6. Probably about €5. Coming into this lovely palace, this temple, these gardens. You can tell I'm stalling a little bit. I'm trying to get around the corner. But this is what it's all actually about. The Daibatsu Hall. Daibatsu, or Daibatsuden, loosely translates to Big Buddha. So I'm pretty sure you can guess what we're going to see inside. But again, just think of the scale of this place. Over 1300 years old, constructed mainly out of wood, tiles on the roof. Just look at the size of this thing for scale. people at the bottom there. Massive, impressive, amazing structure. But I guess I do have one top tip from today. Like I said, it's my second time back here and I had to come back and visit Nara again. But my top tip would be, if it's anything like today, get up early, come here early. I think it opens at 9, aim for that, try and avoid these crowds. It does detract from it slightly, but my God, it is as cool as I remember it. Finally in the door, and this is what all the fuss is about. Check these out. Giant Buddha sculptures here. So as you walk around inside, there's multiple sculptures, beautiful artworks, but all very much of Buddha, of Buddha's disciples. Check out this guy. Almost as impressive as the sculptures, or in fact as impressive. The actual building itself is huge timbers soaring up to the roof. It really is a special place. And you can see down here in the corner, they've got one of the finials from the roof, just to give you an idea of scale. You saw those outside before. I'll chuck in a quick shot of that now, so you can start to get an idea of size. If I do that as a comparison compared to me, absolutely massive. Right, let's have a little wander around, so we can fight through the crowds a little bit. As you walk around, there's almost every corner, there's a sculpture, there's something carved out of wood, all in this grand style from 1300 years ago. The time, money, energy and maintenance to keep these in good shape must be absolutely insane. Let's see what else we've got around the back here. Look at this. A little model of the area that we're in. So you can see representation of the walls that we saw as we walked in through the ticket gate. And then the main Buddha temple. Daibutsuden Hall, and next to it, example of that 5-tiered pagoda that we saw. Right, let's keep on round, getting through this throng. So we've been down one side of the hall now, and we'll just plough on, see what else we've got. So, around the corner we have some applause. Absolutely no idea what's causing that. You can buy some souvenirs here at the back. T-shirts. Donate for the roof. Buy some little mementos. What's going on over here? I know what this is. So, here, in the far corner of the temple, there is a hole in one of the pillars that if you can crawl through, as these people are doing, it's said to give you great success in the next life. Let's nip around the other side and watch this next person, see if they can get through. One of the many visitors here. Really does look like a bit of a tight fit. Oh, we can see a hand. Tough work. Okay. I'm not going to film the rest of that poor person trying to get through. Oh, hang on, saying that, it looks like the pole is giving birth to them. They've almost made it. Well done, look at that. So success in the afterlife for that lucky person, that young person. Dear watcher, you won't be surprised, I'm not going to give that a go myself. You kind of almost done a full lap inside here now, and there's come one last Buddha statue that perhaps we haven't seen right behind me here. So let's finish up with a look at that. See another golden Buddha here. Try and fight my way through. Next to the main statue of the Buddha. So that's it for the Daibatsu Hall at Nara. I'm going to finish by just lighting a candle in remembrance of those who aren't with us anymore. Certainly something that I like to do on these trips is just take a minute to remember some people, think of some people. So let's do that now. So that's it from me here in the Daibatsu Hall, Grand Hall, the Big Buddha Hall in Nara, Japan. Get yourself here, but come early. Right, I'm going to go find me some lunch. And that's it for this week as I go off and get some food. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back next week with more content for you. New content every Saturday. That's my promise to you. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you ring that little subscription bell. That'll make sure you don't miss anything. And if you liked what you saw, hit the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what else I should be getting up to. Join me next time here on Megatrip.